Hi everyone. Okay, so I did a little bit of an experiment yesterday. I was able to go to Joann Fabrics for the first time in a while. So I did a bit of an experiment yesterday, and I really want white stamped acetate. I've really wanted one. So, I've been checking, there's like a folder on Catspresso Co. that I really wanted, but it's not in stock in Franklin Covey compact size, and I don't think it's gonna be for a while. So I just wanted to get this stuff to see if I could make it myself. So this was my experiment, and I shared it on Instagram last night, and people wanted a tutorial on how I did it. So I wanted to show you guys. This is just a test. Like, this isn't, exactly how I did it. I got this idea. I watched a video from Craftastic, and I will link it below. And she did one. I don't think it was a full page one. She just did the upper corners. And I was like, well, I could do that. And I could do the whole page if I get the right stamps. So I went to Joann's yesterday, and I got this. It's this stamp. It was in the clearance section in the stamping area for like $5.50. So I got that stamp. I got, let me see if I can get them out. My desk is such a mess right now. I got this one, and I got these. My stamping blocks are currently in storage because I haven't used them since we moved. But you could also use these too and just do individual stamps how you wanted to. So I'm gonna show you guys how I did it real quick. Let me just put that up. I'm gonna show you how you did it. So I got this Versa Magic archival chalk ink pad in cloud white. I got it at Joann's. I think I got it for, let me see. It was 30% off ink, or 30% off stamping stuff. Yeah, I got it for $5.59. And then I got the stamp pad for $5.47. So it was like $11 for everything, and that doesn't even cover the shipping cost from the UK. Like that like $11, it's like $16 to ship from the UK. So like it works. So what I did was you can use regular acetate, like you can, so what you can do is you can run a laminating pouch through the laminator and then stamp on it, and it's an acetate sheet. So this is how the one turned out that I did. Now, I don't have many stamping material, like I don't have much stamping material. They have stamping pads, and it's a thing, and you put the stamp on it, and then it opens. You put your piece of paper here, and you can stamp, and then you can do it twice, and it makes it darker. I don't have one of those because I don't stamp very often, so it's not something that I don't really, they're kind of pricey, so I don't want to like invest a bunch of money into something I'm not gonna use regularly. So I don't have one of those, so I can't stamp it twice. So it's not as dark as I would like, because the way I stamp it is I just place it on there, and I will never be able to match it up perfectly again unless I have one of those stamping block pad things. So you can stamp on the regular acetate, and it kind of comes off a little bit. So what I did was I had printable transparency film that I print, like if I need to print on acetate, I have these, and I got these off Amazon, and I can link them down below. And it's just printable acetate, and what it is it's a sheet of acetate with like a special film on one side so that you can print, and it's for inkjet printers. So what I did was I took one of these and I cut it down to the size of my planner. I stamped on the transparency film, which is this, and you can feel there's a smooth side and like a rough side. I stamped on the rough side, and then I put it in a laminating pouch and laminated it. This makes it thick, pretty thick, and there is an edge around the outside because you are putting a pre-cut sheet in there, but I don't really mind it, and it gets the general thing that I wanted done, so that doesn't really matter to me too much. Now, so I'm going to show you what I did. So I took the rough side of this, which is this side. This side's really smooth, and this side's kind of rough. I put it on there, and I took some washi tape. I use my Christmas washi tape because I'm festive. And I placed it just kind of on the corner a little, just enough where it's gonna hold the sheet generally pretty well. Just minimal, because your design is going to cover the whole page, so you don't want it to take up too much room on your corners. And then I think I did just like a sliver up here. And this is just so that your paper doesn't move around. The stamps that I got, this block is 6 inches by 6 inches. So I have to stamp it twice. So like if you look at this, there's a little line right here where I had to stamp it twice, and I don't think the stamps are like the bottom of the stamp doesn't line up with the top of the stamp. So it does look a little odd right there, but like if you're just looking at it, you wouldn't be able to tell. So what I did was I have the rough side up. I took my ink, and the ink is another thing. If I could stamp it twice, I think it would be darker. And also the ink that a lot of people suggested when I was researching this is StazOn white ink. So that might be, and Joann's didn't have it. I think it's only available on Amazon and like online. Michael's and Joann's didn't have it. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to order that and see if it's any better. Another way you could do this is with, if you had stamping blocks, you could take some of these, I got this at Joann's too. You could take some of these designs in here and put them on a stamping block and just stamp multiple times, and then you wouldn't have that weird line. Just because this is a full sheet stamp, I'm going to have that. But I'm just experimenting with this, and I just wanted to show you guys how I did it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this block, and I just take the white ink, and I just stamp it on there. And I'm from my experiments that I've done so far, what you want is you want enough ink to cover, but you don't want so much ink that it's gonna like spread out and squish. So you want your design covered, and you want it to be visible, but you don't want so much ink that it's gonna like, when you press it onto the page, it's gonna like spread out and not look as defined. It'll look squishy almost. So then I take this and I just line up the top of this with the top of my sheet. I go a little bit over just to make sure. Then I just press it down, and then I pull it up. Now this is where if I could stamp it again, it would probably be darker, because I could go boop and stamp again and do another layer in the exact same spot. But because I don't have that, I can't, because I'll never be able to line that up perfectly again. So I'm working on that. If it's really something that I feel like I need to buy, I might. Or if you already have one, you could use that for this. So this time I'm just doing this bottom line, so I'm just doing the top half of this stamp. And again, if you were using the individual stamps, you probably wouldn't have to do this because you would be fine. So then I'm going to take this stamp and line it up with this line here and try to get it as close as I can without going too far over. And I'm just going to press down lightly. There. Okay, so that's not too bad. I don't really like that, but it's not that bad. So I'm just trying to do this to get the general point across to you guys on how to do it, because I know a lot of people aren't really into stamping. So then I'm just going to take, I don't know if you're supposed to use baby wipes, but I use baby wipes. Just take a baby wipe, because I have a baby, so it's super easy. And I just kind of clear it off. I also got all these stamps for like super cheap at Joann's, so like I don't really need to keep it super nice, but, and then I dry that off with a excess rag and just kind of boop, there we go, and leave that for a new day. So then this is stamped. I leave this to set for, I don't know, I think I left it for like 20 minutes before I laminated it, because when I laminated the other sheet I did yesterday, I tried to do the dandelion sheet. I don't think I have that right here. No, I don't. I tried to do the dandelion sheet yesterday, and it transferred onto the inside of the laminating pouch, and then I had to move it a little bit, and then it didn't line up because there was ink on the inside of the laminating pouch. But if you let it dry, then it'll be okay. So then once you get to this point, you're going to take a laminating pouch after it's dried. Let's put it into a laminating pouch and laminate it. And then you'll have this. I think I did a little bit more ink on this. With more ink, it stands out more. But with less ink, it's more defined. So it's kind of like a toss-up almost. Like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have it be darker and less defined, or sharp, like a clearer image, but lighter? So I'm going to try the Stays On ink and see if that works. And then I'm going to try, also you can buy a clear, you might be able to do it with a white stamping pad, and then powder and emboss it. So I'm going to try that too, see if that works any better. I'm actually really happy with this one. I only really wanted one. I might try to make some other stuff, but I just wanted a cute design like this with flowers in white and acetate. Yeah, so, and stamping on the laminated, like an already laminated sheet, this ink, this Versamagic ink rubs off, so I wouldn't want to not laminate it again. So I think this a lot of the videos that I've watched, the Stays On ink actually stays on, if you get my drift. I think that and the embossing powder, the white embossing powder, might be the two best bets for this if you don't want to have to laminate it. But if this is stuff that you already have in your craft supply, then you would probably be fine. But I don't have most of this stuff. So, and like this is, I do a thing called letterboxing, and this is the stamp that I use to stamp logbooks. And I wanted to try it on with white on here, and it stays. It's pretty good. Oh, it does rub off a little bit. Yeah, so I would laminate, if you get this ink from Joann's, I would laminate it. But the Stays On ink is what most of the people used in the videos that I watched, so that probably is a better option. But I just like to laminate it anyway because it makes me a little bit nervous, unless I was going to do the embossing powder where it's heat treated. And embossing powder is where you do this design, and while the ink is still wet, you put a powder over top of it. And then when you use like a heat gun, I don't know if you can use a hairdryer, but like if you use a heat gun on it, it melts the powder into the ink. And then once it's done, you can shake off the extra powder, and the powder only sticks to where the ink was. So then you get a really nice crisp like line. And it stands out because instead of being just ink, it is like melted powder, and I don't know what the powder's made out of. I'm assuming plastic of some kind. Maybe not, I don't know. But you have to be careful with the acetate because it can melt the acetate. So that's one of the downsides to the powder. But for something that I just wanted in my planner and I've been wanting for a really long time, and I wanted to see if I could make it. This worked out great. $11 at Joann's, and I pretty much have achieved what I wanted. It's gonna take some trial and error, definitely. It took me, I think I did, this was my first one that I did. But, and I also wish, if you were in a pocket size, the 6x6 one would be perfect. But for the larger planner sizes, the stamps get hard, because this is a 6x6 block.